guys, welcome to the Driving to the Hoop Basketball Diaries. My name's Clint. I'm going to be talking today. I like to make lists, sort of the all-time starting five of XYZ criteria. And today I was thinking about the all-time starting five undersized players, guys that were not supposed to be even playing the position they played, much less being pretty dominant. And so I've been kind of contemplating that, and I'll just jump right into it, because basically, with your point guard position, you need a guy who's going to get a lot of assists, but a lot of players are kind of combo guards and scored a lot, maybe a shoot first point guard. And he had some success, this first guy, and actually played in the finals with in '81 against the Celtics. And that would be Calvin Murphy, a guy who was about 5'9", very powerfully built player. If you look at his college stats, I think he played at Niagara. They're pretty mind-boggling. He was averaging some serious, heavy scoring numbers. Of course, when he goes to pros, that would slow down because of their size and just professional level. But he still had at least 1 year where he was up around 26 points a game. So pretty impressive, dominant player for a guy his size. Apparently he was some sort of outstanding baton expert or something. Maybe that helped with his dexterity and strength with his fingers. He could just feel the ball. He could just fill it up, and he'd get you 18 points a game for a career. And then his assist levels were a little weak. He had a couple of years where he was up over 7 assists. But he also had some years where he was down around 3 or 4 assists per game. So not a guy who's going to run your offense, but as far as at the point guard position, he was very dominant. The next guy on our list is the shooting guard, and that would be pretty obvious to me. He's more of a kind of a combo guard too, and also would play a little point guard here and there. But his best years, he was playing shooting guard. And that would be Allen Iverson, one of my top 3 favorite players of all time. Just an amazing talent, and a guy that he has one of the highest career averages of all time. And we're talking a guy that's 6 foot tall playing shooting guard position against guys 6'5", 6'7", even some up around 6'8", like Steve Smith and guys like that. But he really could. He could fill that ball up and or fill the hoop up rather, and give you a lot of points. Did have some turnovers in his career, and that's okay. We forgive him for that because he was so exciting to watch. And the next position we'll go with is the small forward position. And this one, I'm going to go old school in this one, because this was a guy who dominated on scoring and in rebounding. Of course, back in the 60s and 50s, a lot of shots were taken and a lot were missed. So therefore, there was a lot of opportunities for rebounds. So I'm going to go with Elgin Baylor at the all-time undersized small forward starting five. I've got to go with Elgin Baylor. I mean, this guy, he could really fill it up. Now, if you watch his highlights now, you're probably not going to be that impressed, and I'll be so bold as to say he might not even could make Division I starting five right now. Maybe he could. Obviously he could if he had today's training and whatnot, but if you time warped him from 1960 to now, he'd probably struggle on the college level even, so I'm not sure how he would do in the pros. It was just a different time, and our NBA players grew from their previous players like Elgin Baylor and whatnot. Outstanding player for his era. You cannot knock him for that. And I don't like comparing guys from that era to now. It's just not fair. But he dominated his era like few others. So the power forward position, this is a no-brainer for me. And you could even argue he's maybe the best power forward of all time. He's certainly up there. It's Charles Barkley. When he was on his A game, there was few that could do what he could do. He could really fill it up, really get a lot done on the offensive end. And he could give you 30 and 15 on any given night. He could even give you 50 and 20, on a great night. So just an unbelievable player. He was listed 6'6". They say he was listed actually more like 6'4.5", and at close to 300 pounds. It's pretty amazing the lift that he had coming off the ground. So quick and so powerful. I mean, he could dunk in traffic on people with 2 hands. I mean, he was a beast. He was a true power forward. He kind of evolved his game later in his years, where he became more of a shooter, although he wasn't a great three-point shooter. He certainly took a lot of threes at one point in his career. Kind of backed his game up a little bit. He probably played about 3 years too long. That's okay. The money was probably too good. It is what it is. And then lastly, the center position. This one was tough for me. This is a guy I don't really know a whole lot about, but when you're talking about all-time great centers, it was a name that when I was a kid, I only knew him as a coach, and he coached the Bullets, I remember, was Wes Unseld. And this was a guy that he didn't blow you away with stats. He wasn't a 30 and 15 kind of guy like Barkley or whatever, but he had something. He was kind of like Walton in that his presence was super valuable, so valuable that he won MVP award one year with his team. So you can't knock him for that. He's actually, I think Wilt Chamberlain, maybe the other guy, but there's only been 2 players, if I'm not mistaken, and Wilt may have not been. I'd have to look that up. And I think Wilt and Wes Unseld are the only 2 players to win the MVP award their rookie season. So that's pretty impressive. That was kind of his peak, right? He come right in, wins MVP. They actually won the championship in 1978, the Bullets. He wasn't necessarily the most important player on the team at that point, with Elvin Hayes, and I think Bob Dandridge was on that team, a couple other good players. But nonetheless, at 6'7", 270 pounds, he was a great rebounder. He couldn't leap like Barkley, but he could get up high enough, and he covered a lot of area when he was down in the paint. He was a true bruiser. And, as a consolation prize, if you want to be known as the greatest at something, a lot of people said he was the best outlet passer of all time. So I'm not sure how valuable that is. I know it can definitely turn a game around, but it's not something that's going to, put you in the top 5 list of greatest players ever just because he was a great outlet passer. So anyway, just some thoughts. Top 5 all-time undersized players. Again, I'll recap. We got Calvin Murphy at point guard, Allen Iverson at shooting guard, small forward, Elgin Baylor, power forward, Charles Barkley, and our center, Wes Unseld. Give me your list below, and like the video, and please subscribe.